Hey everyone, it's Mel Morris, and we're back for our weekly 5 card tarot spread. And we are finally out of Mercury Retrograde, though I'm going to say that its shadow is still following me around. As you can see, I already have cards laid out, and that's because this is take, 27. I seem to be having some microphone issues, but I didn't want to re-pull our cards. I will just redo our lovely message. Now, before I get started, I just want to say that if you hadn't had a chance yet to listen to All the Things with the Magical Cartographers, my new podcast with 3 of my amazing friends, I'd love for you to check it out and let me know what you think. The new episode will be out this week on Tuesday. So episode 3 will be out. So go check it out. All right. So I've already pulled the cards. I will give you a little update. In our spiritual connection section, we have the Devil card. In our health and happiness, we have the Ace of Swords. In our love and relationships, we have the Six of Swords. In our business and career, we have the King of Swords. And for our overall card, believe it or not, we have the Queen of Swords. So this week is really about us being in our heads quite a bit. Now, maybe it's because Mercury retrograde has gone. We're in the shadow. Maybe we're starting to see things more clearly. So we're kind of stuck in that thinking mode for a little while. We still are in Aquarius energy, which, are the big thinkers of the group. So let's get started. Let's just take each one and see how things go. So we'll start with our spiritual connection card, and here we have the Devil card. Now, the Devil tends to be about, I'm going to use the extreme word of addiction. That doesn't mean that it only applies to things like drugs and alcohol that you have serious addictions to. It could also be, and what I think for this week, it's also about things that you have allowed to tie you down, if you will. And this week, spiritually, it feels like there's something around you, something I think that's been around for a while now, that you at some point in time was helpful for you, was prosperous for you, made you feel really good. And over time, that thing has turned out to not be great for you, right? Maybe it was at one point, but now no more. So what we need to think about this week is letting go, being really intentional, right? Being really honest about what this thing is. Something that has been weighing you down, something that feels really heavy, something, again, that may have felt really good at some point in time, which makes it even that much harder to let go of. But whatever this thing is, it's holding you back. It's keeping you down. It's preventing you from seeing the bigger picture. It's preventing you from experiencing, I feel like, this kind of higher knowledge that you are otherwise ready to receive. And whatever this thing is, you can feel it, right? It's something that's been weighing on you. And it could be something simple. It could be like you've been trying to, or saying for a long time, you want to try to lose weight, or you want to quit smoking, or something like that. And, maybe having late night snacks and desserts as a routine, felt pretty good at some point, but now you feel the pounds on, or your health is declining, or you're just tired of making excuses for food or otherwise, whatever this thing is. It's just time to let it go. Stop waiting. Just go ahead, let it go, pull the cord, rip it in half, whatever, however you want to call it. But it's time. It's time to let this thing go, and go for good. Make it very clear that it's done. Okay, next, let's look at our health and happiness card. And here we have the Ace of Swords. Now, this is about new beginnings, new ideas. In this particular deck, it feels very action oriented. But it really is, I think, what's been happening is, there have been kind of ups and downs, astrologically for us. Again, we're moving out of Mercury retrograde, if that slowed you down at all. But as we recognize where the Devil card was in spiritual connection, we also recognize that we need to do things differently. We recognize that there are new thoughts about new actions that we're having that we have to start moving forward on. So maybe you've been telling yourself that you're not ready to start a new thing or do a new thing, but the reality is you are, and you've already been having ideas of how to make that work. And now is the time for you to, again, stop screwing around. Just take that first step forward, that first step in moving in a particular direction, one way or the other, right? You can always make another choice. But whatever these new ideas are about action moving you forward, stick with them for a little while, at least this week. Next, let's move on to our love and relationships. And here we have the Six of Swords. Now, as far as relationships are concerned, this Six of Swords feels like someone else has been steering the ship in your relationship. And you've allowed it, right? You've surrendered, perhaps, is the word I'm looking for. And you've kind of closed your eyes and you're just hoping for the best, right? Maybe it was you got into a situation where you just needed help, you needed support that blossomed into something else or continued as a friendship, and you didn't want to be bothered to do anything different. You didn't have the energy. And so you just kind of been coasting, right? You just kind of close your eyes and like, you know what? I can feel that we're moving. That's good enough. The challenge is that if I look at this card, what jumps out at me is that the other person, the person steering the ship, appears to be blind, appears to be kind of navigating, hopefully on instinct. But for me, it feels like even if you're going in a good direction, even if you're on course towards something positive and something beautiful in this relationship, you really need to open your eyes and make your own decisions. You really need to be a part of this process and not just allow this other person to move you forward. Again, I'm not suggesting that it maybe is, you're going off into a bad direction. Maybe you are, but you don't know because your eyes are closed. So we have to just wake up a little bit, be a bit more proactive in our relationships, and just really see where things are. Be honest and see them as they are, not how we're imagining or how we remember them to be. Acknowledge what's happening right now in your relationships. Okay, let's move on to our business and career. And here we have the King of Swords. So our business and career had quite a bit of momentum for a while now, and it feels really good. It feels like you are in a place now that feels comfortable for you as a leader. You're able to show your confidence a bit more as being in the front, as being a leader. You're getting more and more comfortable with that. You're acknowledging that for yourself, that, yeah, I'm really embracing this leadership role or moving, my own career path forward. And that's great. That's great. It still feels a little cold to me. It still feels like you are almost like you had to sacrifice any type of emotional connection in order to show up as a leader. And that happens, right? I mean, you can't just sit around crying about things all the time at work and when you're trying to make business decisions. Absolutely. But you have to come back. You have to come back to the reason that you are in this business or in this job, why you wanted to be a leader, right? You're doing amazing, you're showing up, and I'm just going to say that, start thinking about how you can reconnect to community a little bit more. And we actually see that in the next card. So let's talk about the overall card for the week. And here we've got the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords shows up very distinctly as a leader, but she appears much more confident, much more comfortable with her leadership, because it doesn't feel like the king where I'm in charge, I'm the leader, I need you to see it. The Queen of Swords is much more like, yeah, I'm the leader. I don't have to poke my chest out to show that to you. So part of my leadership is letting people know where they need to be, how we can utilize our strengths, how we can grow together. And so whether it's in your business and career, whether it's in your relationships or any of the internal energies that you're connecting with this week, the Queen of Swords is reminding us that leadership comes most comfortably when it's part of a team, when you are shining because you are leading people towards a common goal, right? We're still in this Aquarius energy, and Aquarius is all about, people, making sure that we're bigger and bolder for the entire human race. And so the Queen of Swords really is reminding us to remember our magic in our ability to create those connections, to be a resource to people. And that's really what people need right now. What the people around you need is someone to show up confidently and say, hey, what can we do here together? I'll just remind you, you may really feel kind of in your head this week with Mercury retrograde shadow still happening, coming out of Mercury retrograde, refocusing our thoughts and our ideas. You may really be kind of in your head this week, and that's okay. Just be mindful that because you thought of an idea, something pops into your head, doesn't make it real. It's just a thought. And you have the power to control that, to change that, to morph that into whatever you need this week. So I hope that was helpful. I'd love to hear how your week is going. Make sure to check out the podcast and let me know how it goes. All right. Stay magical, y'all.